Wealth does not announce itself when it is deciding your future. It does not arrive with celebration or warning. It does not explain what it is about to change. It arrives quietly at a moment that feels ordinary. A decision that seems small, a correction that feels unnecessary, a demand for order that appears inconvenient. This is where the rule appears, not as money, not as opportunity, but as responsibility. The mistake happens here, because when men imagine a wealth-defining moment, they imagine scale, a big break, a dramatic test, a visible turning point. But the rule does not reveal itself through scale. It reveals itself through structure. The first time the rule appears, it asks for discipline where comfort has been tolerated. It asks for order where chaos has been normalized. It asks for restraint where indulgence has gone unchecked. And because nothing seems urgent, it is delayed. Delay feels harmless. Delay feels reasonable. Delay feels like wisdom. But delay is the signal the system is measuring. The system is not listening to intention. It is observing response. Wealth is governed by law, and law does not respond to plans. It responds to alignment. Alignment is never theoretical. It is visible. The missed moment rarely feels spiritual. It feels practical. Wake earlier. Control spending. End a habit. Create a structure. Remove a distraction. Finish what you start. None of these feel life-altering. That is why they are ignored. Men underestimate the weight of small disciplines because they are focused on outcomes, not systems. But wealth does not respond to desire for outcome. It responds to readiness of system. When the rule appears, it is testing one thing only. Can this man govern himself without reward? Because if governance only exists when money arrives, collapse will follow. Self-control after abundance is too late. This is the part no one explains. Wealth does not create discipline. Discipline attracts wealth. And the test is always given before the reward. The first time this rule appears, it often feels unfair. Why now? Why this? Why should I change before anything improves? That question is the proof of misalignment. The system is not asking for change because things improved. It is asking for change so improvement can occur safely. A man who resists order because results are absent is revealing that results, not responsibility, are his motivation. That is disqualifying. The rule is not cruel. It is precise. It does not punish ignorance. It measures response. The moment order is required and postponed, the system adjusts quietly. Not with destruction, with containment. Life continues. Income may even increase slightly. Opportunities may still appear, but nothing compounds. Effort rises, return flattens. And because nothing dramatic breaks, the warning is missed. This is why the rule is often missed the first time. It does not feel dangerous. Men assume danger arrives loudly, but wealth filters quietly. The rule does not block men immediately. It limits them gradually, because limitation teaches longer. When order is postponed, life becomes heavier instead of sharper. Tasks require more effort. Decisions require more energy. Progress requires more time. This friction is not accidental. It is the system slowing a man down until alignment appears. But instead of responding with structure, many respond with intensity. More work, more prayer, more motivation. Intensity feels productive, but intensity without structure leaks. Structure preserves energy. Intensity burns it. This is why men who missed the rule feel exhausted without being effective. They are not lazy, they are leaking. Energy leaks through poor habits. Time leaks through unstructured days. Focus leaks through unmanaged inputs. None of this feels spiritual, but all of it determines capacity. Capacity determines trust. Trust determines access. The rule is not about morality, it is about reliability. Wealth avoids men who cannot be relied upon by their own systems. If a man cannot predict his own behavior, wealth cannot predict its outcome through him. Predictability is power. Men chase confidence, but wealth looks for consistency. Consistency only exists where discipline is enforced without emotion. The missed moment is usually a moment of internal resistance. A thought like, "I'll fix this later," or "This isn't that serious," or "Once things improve, I'll get disciplined." Those thoughts feel harmless. They are not. They reveal that comfort is being prioritized over alignment. Comfort delays obedience. Delayed obedience becomes pattern. Patterns become identity. Identity determines trajectory. This is how men drift into stagnation without realizing when it started. There was no collapse, no failure, no obvious mistake, just a small refusal to restructure when asked, and the system noted it. God does not repeat the rule because repetition would remove accountability. If the system kept warning, discipline would never be required urgently. Urgency reveals character. Character determines placement. This is why some men seem to move forward quietly, while others remain busy but stuck. The difference was not intelligence, it was timing. One responded when structure was first demanded, the other postponed. The rule was not hidden, it was inconvenient. Men often say they want wealth, but what they want is relief. Relief from pressure, relief from discomfort, relief from responsibility. But wealth increases responsibility before it reduces pressure. Men who want relief before responsibility are filtered out early. This is the truth behind the missed moment. The rule does not ask, "Do you want more?" It asks, "Can you handle more?" Handling more begins with handling less correctly. Order with little, restraint with little, consistency with little. If these are absent, scale is denied. Not forever, but until alignment appears. The tragedy is not that the rule exists. The tragedy is that it feels ordinary when it appears. It does not feel like destiny, it feels like discipline. And discipline is boring to undisciplined minds. So the moment passes. Life continues. And later, when frustration grows, men search for explanations. They look for secrets. They look for formulas. They look for external blocks. Rarely do they look backward to the moment they postponed order. But that moment is where everything shifted. The rule was not about money, it was about governance. And governance was tested when no one was watching. That is why it was missed.